everyone and welcome back to another video. So today we have a video that I do every single year. I say every single year. I think I've done it for the past 2 years. So I think this is video number 3 for this type of video. And I really enjoy doing them. Like, I love doing these videos. I look forward to doing them at the end of the year. And this year's kind of been a bit more different because I've kind of refound my love for reading again. Like, I've always loved reading, I've always done it, but the past year, last year's one was a bit different because we had lockdown and stuff, and I didn't want to read. And also I stopped reading as much once I finished uni because Jack hasn't always been a reader. Jack is my partner and I normally read before bed, and I read before bed at uni, and then basically when I came back from uni, Jack doesn't read before bed. So when I go to bed, me and Jack just talk for a bit and then go to sleep. So I kind of lost my main reading time when I came home from uni. And then lockdown happened, so I just lost motivation with that. And then this year, I've kind of refound it again, mainly because of book talk, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not heavily into book talk, but seeing other people read really motivates me, and especially seeing how many books some people read. Like I'm proud of how many books I read this year, and it's nowhere close to the numbers that people have. Like, it's insane. But I did smash my reading goal out of the park this year. I didn't meet it last year. Last year I said I wanted to read 15 books and I read 12. This year I set myself the goal of reading 12 and I've read 16. So I am very proud of myself that I've smashed my reading goal this year. So yeah, there's a lot more books to review this year than normal, so I'm gonna have to go through them pretty quick. I have also swapped tracking apps for my, I've swapped tracking apps essentially. I was reading using Goodreads, but since Book Talk, I have found out that that is owned by Amazon, and I didn't really want to support Amazon, so I have swapped to Storygraph, which is person of colour and woman owned, so please use that app instead of using the one owned by Bezos. So I have started using Storygraph. So I actually have a few more stats this year as well. So I thought I'd go through the books individually, and then I will go through the stats that it provides because it's just so interesting. Like, it has so many more stats than Goodreads had. I'm not 100% on the app, I'm not gonna lie. I think it still needs a lot of development, but it's still pretty good. I'm still happy using it. So another addition also is this. So obviously you can't really see that much of it because of, like, I'm sitting down, but this goes like all the way at the top. Like, you can't really see my organisation. Oh, you know what? This is a book video. I've got to show off my library. So it is all colour coordinated, and I have my favourites facing out. I still need to do a little bit of, like, I don't know, styling with the ones that are facing outwards. And then I also have a series column, and then the one on this side, this is mine and Jack's TBR, and there's some down here as well. And then I need something for that top hole. But yeah, that is how it is at the minute. Let me put this back where you were. So yeah, I have my library now this year as well because we've moved house this year. So I have been able to do this little space where I've got all of my books, and I'm very proud of it. And I repainted all the bookshelves. Those are in vlogs, so if you want to go see them, you can go see them. But yeah, this is new. So obviously I have all my books there now. So because they're colour coordinated, it's hard to find the books, let me tell you. Like, it's not as easy as just going, because I used to have them in alphabetical order, so it was easy just to be like, boom, boom, boom. It took me a while to find the books. So I've kept them there because I don't want to have to reorganise the colour thing. So I'm just going to pluck the ones out that I've read. And that's why, like, these are further out than the rest of them. They were all aligned because Jack, my partner, is a little bit anal with stuff like that. He likes it all in a line. So they're all out like that. So let me find the first one. First book of the year was Hound of the Baskervilles by Arthur Conan Doyle, a Sherlock Holmes book. This is the second Sherlock Holmes book I've read. Well, third, I suppose, because my first one had 2 stories in there. So the first one I read was A Study in Scarlet and The Sign of Four, which is the first 2 books. So I read The Hound of the Baskervilles. I rated this, the iPad's down here by the way, a 3-star. The thing I had with this is I actually find Arthur Conan Doyle books quite hard to read. Like, I don't know what it is, I just find them quite difficult to read. And then also the racism in there just kind of just like, I know it's the type of thing where people are like, oh, but you know, it was of the time, but it's not an excuse. Like, there's racism in there. It puts a dampener on the book. So I rated it 3 stars. I did actually like the story of this one, and I do like the story, but it's just, I find the writing difficult to read, and then also racism. So 3 stars for that one. Second book is The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. I actually have 2 copies of this. I don't know if you can see. There's another copy there and there's a copy there. That is courtesy of my friend Ellen. She bought me it, seeing it on my TBR, thinking that meant I didn't have it, but then I did have it. So this was, I actually bought this off the back of a Waterstones email. I think it was a book of the month. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, should I be going through the plot with you a little bit? Yeah, let's go through the plot a little bit. So this is, I would say, a thriller. It's kind of a little bit of like a psychological thriller. I wouldn't call it a huge thriller. No, I'm not going to read the blurbs, because when I edit my book videos back and I read the blurb, it kind of like stresses me out. So this is about a woman who, I might have to read the blurb if I can't remember it fully. This is about a woman who takes a job as being a live-in nanny, and it's kind of just about what she discovers there, why she's there. There's a little bit of like ghostly kind of stuff in it. It's actually a really good book. I read a few books this year a lot quicker than I normally read a book. I have Evelyn syndrome, so I have difficulty reading. It's a visual processing disorder, so I actually find it difficult to read. So I actually got through this a lot quicker than other books that I did. And thrillers are my favourite. Like, thrillers are 100% my favourite type of genre. And this was just really easy to read, and it was quite fast paced as well. I gave this a 4-star. I didn't particularly like the ending. There were good bits of the ending, but just some bits I was just a bit like, But this is a good book and I would recommend this. I don't know why I didn't give it higher. I think I was still using Goodreads at this point, so I couldn't give it a half. I think I might give it a 4.5 because I did really enjoy reading it. Some of the story plot points I was just a bit like, but apart from that, it is a very good book, so I would recommend. Third book of the year, we are jumping into non-fiction. So this is Mind the Gap by Karen Gurney. I recommend this book 100%. If you have read Come As You Are by Emily Nagoski, that is very, very similar. There's probably only a few little different bits in this compared to Come As You Are, but I haven't actually read Come As You Are. I read this one first, and I love the way that this is written. It's got, basically, this is about the sex orgasm gap and about desire, and about how basically we need to relearn desire, because what we know as like desire, sex drive, everything like that is basically wrong. It came from kind of like the first ever studies on desire, and then that has been disproven many, many a time, and then it hasn't kind of came into the media really. So this is a brilliant, brilliant book. I think I rated this 5-star. It is very well written. If you are in a relationship or having any kind of sex with anybody, this is also, this is a very inclusive book. It is very, very, very good. It has like little activities you can do with your partners, and it's just a very, very good book. If you are a female, I highly, highly recommend it. If you are a male, I highly, highly recommend it. If you are non-binary, I recommend this to anyone. If you're having sex, read it. Even if you're not having sex, read it. It's a very, very, very good book. Just please read it. The Queen's Sorrow by Susanna Dunn is the next book. This is the lowest rating book of the year. I read this on a recommendation. Well, it wasn't even a recommendation, you know. This was from my mama, who's my grandma. I call her my mama. This is from my mama. She gave me it and she was like, you'll try that, you'll enjoy it. My partner's waving at me. She was like, read it, you'll enjoy it, because I really enjoy historical fiction. And this book wasn't very good. I rated it 2 stars. I would give it a 1.5. It was very, 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 very slow, and nothing particularly happened. I think, like, right, so I'm gonna read the blurb of this, okay? I'll be as quick as I can. These are desperate times for Mary Tudor as England's, no, No, yeah, it's this one. I'm getting confused. These are desperate times for Mary Tudor. As England's first ruling queen, her joy should be complete when she marries Philip, the dashing Prince of Spain. But despite her ardent devotion, he's making it painfully obvious that he cares little for his new wife, and her struggles to produce an heir only makes him colder towards her. Lonely and depressed, Mary begins to vent her anguish on her people, and England becomes a place of cruelty, persecution, and fear. Mary's terrible fall from grace is seen through the eyes of Raphael, a Spanish sundial marker, who is part of the prince's flamboyant entourage. He becomes the one person that she trusts, but his life and newfound love will be caught in the chaos that follows. None of that is in there, pretty much. Like, it's the type of thing where it's literally about this Raphael, and he hardly sees the queen. You don't see anything about the queen. You just kind of, it is very much what it says. It's seen through the eyes of him, but he's not even he's with the queen like twice, and it's just, nothing happens. Like, I did not enjoy this book, unfortunately. I really love historical fiction, and I did not enjoy this book. It's a 1.5 stars. Do not recommend. We have another 5-star book. So this is The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell. I love this book. I couldn't put it down. Again, I read this very, very quick for me. Right, I'm gonna deal with that later. You can just look at that for a second. I'll deal with it when I'm done reviewing this book. So I really, really enjoyed it. It was 5 stars. I got through it so quickly. It is very much a thriller. It is about, it's basically, right, how do I describe it? It follows a woman, right, how does it go again? Yeah, it swaps between 2 different perspectives. I think, if I remember rightly, it swaps between a woman and a male, and the male is in the past and the woman is in the, like, present. So it's kind of about this boy's life living in this house where it kind of goes a little bit culty, and then the woman is discovering she's inherited a house from the family, and it's about that. I don't want to give any spoilers because it's a very, very good book. I think everybody's read it. It is a very, very, the million copy best-selling author. Best-selling author. It's a very good book. I'm not going to say anything else because I don't want to spoil it if you're going to read it. I couldn't put this down, and yeah, do recommend. I'm having a little bit of nightmare putting these shelves back because there's quite a few books that are forward space in there, so please ignore this mess. It will go back once I've gone back to the book because there's a few books that I'm showing you in that section, so it's a bit of a mess. I apologise, but we're gonna move on, and I'm gonna fix it at a later point. So the next one is The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. I'm so bad. Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure if you're watching this video, you like books, so you've probably heard this. I am very much an outlier on this book. I did not enjoy it. I gave this 3 stars, and this is a 5-star read for a lot of people. I think I gave it because I saw the twist coming quite early on, and it's meant to be a thriller with a very, very good twist. I didn't like the twist. I felt like, if you read it, I felt like the twist negated a lot of stuff that we'd already read, and I just didn't enjoy, I didn't enjoy the twist, and that kind of put me off. It was a good book, reading it as it went. I didn't think it was anything that special though, so I am on the outlier spectrum with this, and I didn't really like it that much, so I gave it a 3-star, and I'd say there are better thrillers, unfortunately. Another thriller is The Woman in the Window by AJ Finn. This is a Netflix movie. I think it's Netflix. It's a movie now. I'm pretty sure it's Netflix. I read this before the movie came out, and I would 1000% say that this is better than the movie. If you've already watched the movie and not read the book, I'm sorry. You should have done it the other way around, because it kind of just, you don't expect the twist. Like, I kind of expected the twist, but there were little bits that I didn't, and it kept me guessing a lot longer than other thrillers. I really enjoyed this. The movie did not do it justice whatsoever. It was a very good book, and the movie was very mediocre, and yeah, the movie, but the book, I think I gave it a 4. Yeah, 4-star. I really enjoyed reading it. Again, couldn't put it down. It's a very big book for a thriller. It's quite quite a big book. And yeah, I would recommend. And if you haven't seen the movie, definitely read it. If you have seen the movie, this is better. So if you're about like reading stuff that you've already seen, give this a go. But yeah, I would recommend this. This next one, I don't really have much to say about it because it is The Hobbit. I've never read The Hobbit. I never read it when I was younger. Jack finished reading it this year, so then I went straight onto it. I read it when we were on holiday and just before. And I don't really have much to say about it. It's The Hobbit. It's a classic. What did I give it? I gave it a 4.5. I think it's hard when you know the story so well, because I love the movies and stuff. I think it's hard giving it a rating because you know it. Like you know what to expect, you know the story. I think it is really, really difficult to rate it. I really actually enjoyed Tolkien's writing. I didn't think I was going to, because I'm not a fan of like older books. Like I say, I don't really like Arthur Conan Doyle and stuff, but I actually really enjoyed Tolkien's writing. It is very, not easygoing, but it's just friendly. Like it's a really lovely way that it's written. And we have the one with little pictures in, so there's a picture there. Like it's a really lovely book. But yeah, I gave it a 4.5, and I'm just glad that I can say I've read this now. Okay, right, okay, we are now on to my favourite book ever. I'm doing this in chronological order, by the way. This isn't why I saved till the end. Like, this is the order that I read them in. This is my favourite book ever. I bought this on a whim because I'd just started seeing TikTok books, and we were on our way to Lanzarote and we were in the airport, and I was panic buying, and I was like, oh, I think I need another book, and I saw this and I was like, I've seen it on TikTok, I'll buy it. I literally didn't even read the blurb. Like I was literally like, I recognise the cover from TikTok, I'm getting it. Thank God that I did. I read this book in a day and a half, and that is a big thing for me. Granted, we were on holiday, I had a lot of time, but I love this book. I recommend it to anyone. Like, everyone should read this book. I love it so much. It is very inclusive. I just couldn't put it down. The storyline just hooks you in so much. Like, I think when I saw it on Book Talk, I didn't really understand why people loved it so much, because people don't want to give it away, and I don't want to give it away, but it hooks you in so much, and the story is so like intricate and expanding, and I just love this book. It is my favourite book. I gave it 5 stars. I couldn't put it down, and yeah, I just love it. I recommend to anyone. Okay, the next one is another TikTok book actually, but I didn't get it from TikTok. I bought this on my, again, Ellen's recommendation. Ellen is a very, very big reader. I think she reads something like 80 books a year. She's insane. She reads a lot of books. So she recommended this, and I got this off that, and now I've seen it. Oh, I've left the sticker on. I think I actually got this with, did I get this with Evelyn, Hugo? Possibly. Yeah, so I got this off the recommendation from Ellen. I really like this book. It didn't blow me away. Like, I've seen a lot of people on Book Talk saying it's their 5-star read, but I wouldn't give it 5 star. It is very good. I would say it's triggering if you are triggered by, what am I allowed to say on YouTube? Thoughts of harming yourself or unaliving. Don't read this book. It is quite triggering, but if you feel like you are able to deal with it, do read this book. It is a very good book, and it's very heartfelt and deep. It's a lovely concept. I absolutely loved the concept of this book. I don't know how much spoilers to give away. What's on the back? Yeah, so basically she tries to unalive herself and then goes to a library where she can see all of the lives that she could have led, and it is just, it's a brilliant concept. It's a lovely kind of like heartwarming book. I'm not a fan of Matt Haig's non-fiction work, so this was the first fiction one I read, and I really enjoyed it, and I gave it 4 stars. So it's not like I'm saying it's not a 5 star, but it's still a very, very good book. I would recommend this book. Apparently we're staying on the track of triggering books. Apparently I went through an intense time. The next one is I Will Find You for Joanna Connors. I bought this because it was in the clearance of Waterstones, so it got it very, very cheap. This is about a story of a woman who was raped and finding, it's kind of like going through what happened and then finding closure for her. It's a very good book in terms of it shows a very good perspective of what she goes through, and then like how it goes through her family in terms of what it did for that. It's it is very triggering. It goes into depth, so I would say if you are not in the headspace to read things like that, do not read it. But it is a very good book. It is a true story, and it's kind of her, just her recollection of it and her going through it all. I rated this 4-star. It's just, I think it's a good book to read to see how somebody went through it, but obviously you have to be in the right headspace. So I would recommend, but only if you feel comfortable doing so. The Wolf Den by Elodie Harper. This is a very good book. I bought this because Waterstones were kind of pushing it. It was one of those ones where it was like on the table everywhere and the posters were everywhere, and it was when I did a haul. It was a very good book. I enjoyed it. It is about a brothel in, oh my god, what's it called? Pompeii. It's about a brothel in Pompeii. It is a very good book. It doesn't include anything about Vesuvius, not yet. Anyway, this is the first in a series. The next one's aren't out yet. It is still being written. I think the second one's due out this year, but it doesn't include anything about Vesuvius. It is about the brothel, and it is about a particular woman in the brothel and what happens with her and trying to get out, because it's about the slavery, being put into slavery in a brothel. I think this is a very, very good, it's a very good representation of what it would be like working in a brothel. It doesn't romanticize it at all. It is very much, this is how it is. They are in slavery. They are desperate to get out. And it's kind of about this woman's like trying to get out of this brothel, and it's just about how it is in the brothel and being a slave. And I would say it's a beautiful book. It's very good. I'm looking forward to the next one. It doesn't close off a lot, but I am very, very much looking forward to the next one. I would recommend. I gave this 4 stars. Another Lisa Jewell book. This is Then She Was Gone. It wasn't as good as The Family Upstairs. I gave this a 3.75. It is a good book, but I didn't like the twist because I thought it was a very obvious twist. And I know that isn't kind of the point. Like, I know twists aren't always meant to be like a, wow, gotcha. But I don't know. It made us feel like she was being like, haha, here's the twist. And it just wasn't. It was kind of like, yeah, saw that coming. But it is very good. Okay, so if the lighting is a little bit different, my camera messed up again and basically stopped recording and didn't tell me. So I got a little bit upset. I've had some food. I'm gonna start again as if nothing has happened. So I'm gonna leave Then She Was Gone because I've checked where it's cut me off, and I did talk about it a lot. I would say, I'm not sure if I said this or not, but I would say that I wouldn't not recommend it, but I'd say give it a go. See how you feel. It's an alright book, it's just not my favourite thriller. So next up we have The Sanitarium. I'm gonna have to get all of the books out again, hang on. So this is The Sanitarium by Sarah Pierce. This again was an impulse buy. So I bought this in the airport on the way back from Gdansk. I needed a book because I finished Then She Was Gone quicker than I thought I would. So I bought this in the airport because I was like, I need a book. Picked it up because I recognised it because somebody recommended this to me like years ago, and I've just never got around to buying it. So picked it up, grabbed it, done, got it. This book I think is a beautiful book. I really love this book. It is one of those ones, it's a little bit bigger than A4, so if you can see the size comparison to the other books, it's a big book. It's really pretty. I really like it. It's a good book. I really enjoyed this. So this is about a woman who is a detective who's on like a sabbatical, like she's on a break, and she's going to a hotel that was a sanatorium to meet her brother, and there's like kind of like fractured relationship there because something happened. And then while she is there, something else happens, and it's about her trying to figure out what's going on. Again, another thriller. And it's kind of about her unraveling what's going on at the sanatorium, but also what happened in the past. So that's kind of the basic plot without giving anything. It's definitely like more like a psychological kind of thriller. It's kind of like murder mystery because she's a detective, but I'd say it's definitely more of a thriller than a murder mystery. I give this a 3.5. I did enjoy reading this. It was just a little bit like, I don't know, I'm not entirely sure with this one why I wouldn't give it a 4, but I did enjoy reading it. I would recommend it. It is long. There's a lot that happens, and it just feels like very like, I don't know, sorry if you can hear that noise. My dog is chewing a like bone thing at my feet, so I'm sorry if you can hear a weird noise, but it's long, it has a lot in, it kind of just feels like it's stretched out too much, I think, a little bit for me, but I did enjoy reading this. It is a good book. It kind of like set up for a second one, but I don't know if there is a second one coming. So yeah, I gave that 3.5. So next, I'm not even going to put that away, I'll put that just there for now. We have the ones that everybody's read. We know, like, I think you can probably tell, it's the Book Talk book that coming. It is A Court of Thorns and Roses, Avatar. So we have book 1, book 2, and I am nearly finished book 3. Like literally, I'm 20 pages away from that, so I kind of want to include it in this in 2021 because I have read the majority of it in 2021, but because I haven't finished it yet, I can't include it in 2021, but I read like literally, I want to say like 7/8 of it in 2021, but never mind. We have book 1 and book 2. I'm kind of grouping them together, but this is a good book. This is a very, very good book. This is a very good book. In terms of ratings, I gave this one a 4.25 and I gave this one a 5 because it's a very good book. The thing is, right, this is also a good book. I am not putting this down whatsoever. Like, this is a very good book, but it's the type of thing that when you read a book where you're like, that's what enjoying a book is. It makes the other ones feel a little bit worse, but that is a very good book by itself. If you don't know what it's about, but I'm sure you will, everybody seems to know this book because it's Book Talk, but it is about a human who accidentally kills a fae, and then she has to go live with a high fae because she's kind of like broken this like sacred law, and that's kind of all I'm gonna say. But it's about like what happens when she's there, and then something kicks off, and it's very, very good. But then this one, oh god, it's very, very good. I can't really tell you anything about this one in case you haven't read this one because it's very big spoilers, but it's very good. I wasn't expecting to like these books at all. I bought these books in a haul, and I will link it above because I bought it being like, I don't think I'm gonna like them because I am not a fantasy reader. Like, I do not read fantasy. I read thrillers, as you have probably guessed, but this is just another, it's just another layer. I think the thing is with fantasy, the thing I struggle with is kind of like the world building and the imagination that's required and keeping track of everything in the world, but this just makes it so easy. Like, she writes it so well that it's just so easy to keep up with and figure out what's going on, and then you don't have to think that much with it. It's just such an easy read, and it's such a good read. Like, it is a brilliant read. I am so pleased I picked these up, and I didn't think I was gonna like them, and I really, really did. It is worth the hype. I can't, like, when I found it on TikTok, I couldn't really describe why. Like, people, I don't know, I didn't really understand why it was such a big deal, but like, you just get lost in it. Like, it's so easy to get lost in it, and you get obsessed. Like, I'm obsessed with it. Like, I think about reading it all day, and then I'm so excited to read it on a night time, and I just love them. I'm obsessed with them. I really, really like them. They are 100% worth the hype, and I definitely think that you should read them. I highly recommend them. Even if you're not into fantasy, give them a shot, because they are, like I say it, I didn't think I was into fantasy, and then I've read this and I really, really like it, and the smut that is in this book. It is the first time I've ever read smut, and I enjoy it. She writes it very, very well. It's a very good, like, entry-level smutty book, and it's very, very good. That's all I'm gonna say. You just read it. Like, it's very, very good. Anyway, that is all. I'm putting them there because I haven't got a place, because they're gonna go in my series section because they're a favourite now. So they're going there for now until they get their place when I finish the third one. So that is all of the books that I read this year. I thought I would go through some of the stats that Storygraph provides because they're just interesting. So I know you can't really see well because of the light, but you can see there's like all of these statistics, and I just thought I'd quickly run through some of mine because they are quite interesting. So there are moods. Mine are quite evenly split. It's that top graph, I think you can see. So my main ones are mysterious, dark, tense, emotional, and then there is like the smaller ones are reflective, adventurous, informative, and challenging. They come off people's ratings. So when you go to rate a book, you can rate them, and it's really easy, because with rating books, I struggle with the stars, never mind like writing a full like review. I know some people really love that, but I'm just not into it. Whereas this, it gives you like the stars, and then it gives you like check boxes to rate that, whether it's that kind of genre, what things you can put trigger warnings on there. Like it's very, very good. Then you've got pace, which mine is very, very evenly split, which I'm not happy about because I hate slow paced books. So I think that's just bad choices on my part. But it's like 31% slow, 31% medium, 38% fast, which is, I would rather it be fast. The page numbers, 25% is under 300 pages, 69% is 349, and then 6% is 500 plus. I have bought some smaller books to read in this year because I tend to go with really big books and then get disheartened because they're so big. Like I really want to read the Priory of the Orange Tree or something, but that book is just huge. Like it's huge, and I don't want to buy it. So I have bought some smaller books. In terms of fiction and non-fiction, I am on 88% fiction and 13% non-fiction, which is actually different for me. I think normally I'm on about 25% non-fiction and 75% fiction. I didn't read as much this year as I normally did, so it's interesting. Top genres are mystery and thriller, which, I mean, yeah. And then all of them are print format. I don't read any ebooks. And then most read authors are Sarah J Maas and Lisa Jewell, which is ACOTAR, and then the thriller ones that we went through. And then we have star ratings. So there was 4, my average rating is 4-star. And that, I think that tends to be because I do tend to buy books that I know I'll like from the blurb and stuff. Like I tend to not go near books. Like I think the 3-star one, not the 3-star, the 2-star one, that was offer recommended, like I got given it. When I'm buying them myself, normally I'm like, I'll not read that, so then I just don't buy it. So I think that's why that's so good. So yeah, I just thought we'd go through that because it is very, very interesting. I do recommend using Storygraph. But that is it. That is all of the books for this year. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. I really, really love doing these videos, and I hope you guys did too. So if you did, please make sure to leave it a like and subscribe if you are new. I would love to do more book content if that is something people are interested in. I know there are a lot of book content creators out there now, but if anybody likes the way I do it, please let me know and I will definitely do some more book content. But yeah, that is going to be it. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye guys.